Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. And welcome to your favorite show, Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. I feel like I have something on my face. Do I have a pimple coming in? Anyway, I shouldn't show it with the high-def camera. But I see something out of the corner of my eye, and it's messing with my... Anyway, we got Andy. We got Hunter. Peter on the ones and twos. And I also have a phone that was at 25% before we started this. This is my wife. And I sent one text, and it's now at 9%. So shout out to US Cellular. Can't really rip on you because it's like a 5-year-old phone. Anyway, we're going to talk a little high school football. But first, Hunter, I'm eating this banana today. You want to guess who's got the freshest bananas in the state of Iowa?
Let me think. I think that'd be Fairway food stores.
Actually, the people who pick bananas, they go to Fairway first to make sure they got the freshest.
I've heard that.
Everybody else is the scraps. We're powered by Fairway Food Store, as always. Everyone, the challenge this week is to, go, you see the ads. They're here. You see them all the time. They're always the same companies. Visit them, please. All right, we're gonna talk about high school football. Should we go big schools first and get them? So the three big schools we talked last week. Fairfield was definitely playing their last game. Mount Pleasant, Washington had a chance to go. We will do our fond farewell to the big schools. Football, and we'll just chat about the three games. I think did I write the stories on Mount Pleasant and Washington for the paper? Yeah. I was at Mount Pleasant. So going into Friday night, there was a chance if Mount Pleasant and Washington both won, there would be a three-way tie between Mount Pleasant, Washington, and Assumption. Assumption would have went because of the tiebreaker no matter what, even if it was 100-0, 100-0. But that would have put Washington and Mount Pleasant in a chance to get through on the RPI. Washington went down to Fort Madison, Mr. Hunter.
Yep.
And they did what they needed to do. They got to win. The Demons 41, the Bloodhounds 21. Fort Madison hung on there for a little bit, but it was a win. Unfortunately, to end the year for Washington, because when the RPI came out, they're ranked number 18, I believe. Not good enough to get in to the Class 3A playoffs. So the Demons have to settle for a 6-3 record. I'll read off some stats here for the Washington Demons for this big win. Logan McDowell had a big day statistically. 175 rushing yards, 140 passing yards, 4 pass touchdowns. And then I'll tell you the 6 guys who got in the end zone. Catching touchdown passes, Jayfred Espinoza, Mason Morgan, Oliver Hobeship, and Cale Williams all scored in the air. And then on the ground, Jude Carter and Summit Keith both scored. So 6 touchdowns scored by the Demons. Big win over Fort Madison. We remember that was one of their toughest games last year. Did you cover the Washington-Fort Madison game last year that was so close?
I don't think so.
He wasn't listening to it? Oh, just kidding.
I can't remember.
I think you did, but I don't remember. I might have. So the RPI did not work out for Washington. And then Mount Pleasant failed to knock off Davenport Assumption anyway. Panthers lose 35-0. Assumption was, I'm really curious to see how Assumption does in the playoffs because we thought they weren't as good this year. And then I thought Washington was going to beat them. They beat Washington 35-7. I thought maybe Mount Pleasant would have a chance if they ran the ball. And they moved the ball all right early on, but Assumption had everything going for them. So Mount Pleasant out, Washington out, and then Fairfield also. They had the latest, juggernaut on the schedule was Grinnell. Fairfield. Luckily for Fairfield fans, the biggest news is that we will be redistricting in the winter. So hopefully they get a little bit of a better shake. But Trojans fall 45-27. So they did score on Grinnell a lot, but Grinnell's probably taken out a little frustrations because they've had so many close games against ranked teams that they couldn't pull off this year. I don't think Grinnell made the playoffs, did they?
I don't think so, no.
No, that's upsetting if you're a Grinnell fan to have that good of a team. Voss Richardson threw for 80 yards and a touchdown.
Oh my.
Ethan Bisgard had a one on the ground, one in the air. So, by the way, those are sophomores, Richardson and Bisgard. Xandrick Allison, who was kind of, he scored on the ground. He's kind of turned into their main running back sophomore. So they have plenty of talent coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But redistricting, I love redistricting. I'm a little scared. You want to know my fear, Hunter?
What's that?
Heard some rumors. Rumors have it that Washington and Fairfield are both very close to the 2A mark when the next ones come out. We could get a split up because, in our dream world, Mount Pleasant, Washington, and Fairfield are all in the same district, which we didn't get that this time. Fairfield was out, but I don't think Mount Pleasant's close enough to the bottom. They have a little more students than Fairfield and Washington, but we run the chance of either Fairfield or Washington going to 2A, both of them going to 2A, which might put them with Mid-Prairie. But I would rather.
And Fairfield's like the second smallest 3A school, so
they are, and Washington's like the third or fourth smallest too.
Which is wild to think about.
It is. It is crazy to think that they would be a 2A school and be in the same one as Mid-Prairie now. I mean, they are in volleyball.
True.
But I mean, if that happens, hopefully those three get the same district. Let's just say.
By the way, I wasn't making faces at you earlier. I just heard like a loud noise. I looked outside and it was absolutely downpouring.
Oh, what? Whatever. We don't have any outside sports today. We're cooped up inside. Hunter, you were at a playoff game, and one of the more exciting. We had some crazy playoff games. I didn't think we were going to have this close of games.
Yeah.
Tell me about yours, and then we'll go through the other small schools. Start with Pekin. You were there, and Pekin got a little scared.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it was going to be a tough game going in. We said probably what we said was this would probably be one of the closest games, which looking at the other results, we know we had some other close games as well. But Pekin gets the job done narrowly against North Lynn, 28-20. I believe I think it was Pekin's first playoff win in like 7 years. So they were all pumped up after this one, but it was a close one throughout. I mean, kind of a back and forth affair. It was kind of sloppy throughout. There were a lot of turnovers, but Pekin was able to get the job done. I mean, the two teams were tied at 14 at the half, and then with just 5 minutes to go in the third, shocker, Will Adam, obviously, talked about him kind of emerging last year, and he's really kind of at the forefront of the Pekin offense at quarterback. 54-yard touchdown gave Pekin a 21-14 lead. The Lynx responded with a 36-yard touchdown. On the 2-point try, though, they were called for holding, pushed them back a little bit, and then Adam came up defensively, picked off the 2-point attempt to keep the Panthers in front there. Then things got real tight, real hairy from kind of then on out. Northland forced the Pekin offense off the field on the next drive, but the Panthers recovered a fumble on the Lynx's first play to take the ball at the Northland 39 with 8:29 to go in the game, with a great opportunity to kind of take the lead, make it an 8 or 9 point game, in Lynx territory. I say kind of more midfield, but either way, on that side of the field always helps. But Pekin turns it over on their first play. The Panthers are picked off, setting up Northland kind of around the 50. The Lynx couldn't convert, and then little drama, the lights go out.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
It was on my tweet, but the lights literally went out. It was just completely pitch black. So then for about 30
like that Super Bowl.
Yeah. For about 30 minutes, they had to ramp them up, and they take so long to fire back up. But after the lighting issue, Pekin was forced to punt. But another Northland turnover. After another Northland turnover, Pekin was able to take advantage. Defensively, Alton Williams put a lick. I mean, just hammered Northland quarterback. And the ball kind of lofted in the air. Henry Adam was able to get under to pick it off. He returned the ball down to about the Lynx 32 with just 3:03 to go. And then on that possession, Adam took off for a 22-yard run, set up a 1-yard touchdown to make it 28-20. Northland elected to just kind of let him walk in because, if it was Pekin, they could have just ran the clock down, and kind of just played the clock in their favor. So they let him walk in for the easy score, with the chance to get the ball back and kind of decide their own fate. But on the kickoff, Pekin decided to onside kick it, and it kind of paid off. They recovered the onside kick, so now there's just over 2 minutes to go, and Northland was out of timeouts. All Pekin needed was a first down to end it. Guess what? They don't get the first down, and they give the Lynx the ball back with just a minute to play, but without any timeouts. Time was on Pekin's side, so they pull out that playoff win, advance to the next round. Adam finished the game with 43 passing yards, 191 yards on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. Riley Smith, 51 rushing yards. Henry Adam with 50 yards and a touchdown. Nolan Glick had a touchdown as well. On the receiving end, Smith caught 2 passes for 16 yards. Robert Brown, 4 catches for 15 yards. Glick, 12 yards on 1 catch. And then defensively, Will Adam and Caden Bender each had 6.5 tackles. Bender also had 3 tackles for a loss. With the win, Pekin now 8-1, and they will take on a tough Madrid team on the road, 7-2 in the second round. Madrid 7-2. So I mean, if you're Pekin, we said all season. Well, we said last year they were going to be, one of the better teams in the area, and I mean they have been all season. Obviously, just a tough loss to top 5 ranked Lisbon, which was close game through and out. So I mean, Lisbon can pretty much play with anybody. Basically, you don't want to sleep on Lisbon if you're the opposition.
And the pod that came out for Pekin, if they beat Madrid this week, which I think that's going to be a really close game. I think Northland was probably good for them. They've played a close playoff game, so they know what it's like. If they beat Madrid,
playing somebody they can beat up on.
Agreed. It could be Pekin and Lisbon again for a chance to go to the Dome. That would be pretty wild. It would be at Lisbon again if that happened. I'm going to talk about Mid-Prairie real quick, and then after I talk about Mid-Prairie, I'm going to run and get a phone charger so I don't pull a Hunter from last week because my computer just told me that I only have 19 minutes left.
Hey, my computer's at 16%, so I need to grab my charger too.
Oh my gosh, do you want to run and get your charger while I talk about Mid-Prairie?
I can.
Do it. All right, this is perfect. All right, fans, now I'm talking directly to the watchers. That's how Hunter and I roll, by the way. He didn't have his laptop charged. I didn't have mine. My phone's dead. You know where you can get some good chargers? Pretty sure they have some chargers up front at Fairway food stores. I don't really know about that, actually. Fairway have chargers? Probably. They got everything. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about Sigourney Kyoto. This is another one. We had 3 winners this week. This is the second one here. Not Sigourney Kyoto. I'll apologize. Sigourney Kyoto fans. We'll talk about that later. That was a tough loss. Mid-Prairie, 35-7 over Union. This one was close in the first quarter. Actually, it was close in the first half. 7-7 was the score after the first quarter, and then Mid-Prairie is only at 14-7 at halftime. So Union Community, which plays a pretty tough schedule. They've lost teams like Iowa Falls and PCM. They gave Mid-Prairie a halftime sweat. Second half, all Golden Hawks, 21-0 second half for the Golden Hawks. It was another big win for the Golden Hawks defense. Second straight year where they've just opened the playoffs with a dominant win because they did that to Northeast last year where they were just flying around. That was actually more dominant last year than it was this year even as far as game flow. But Brady Weber, 2 touchdowns through the air, threw for 127 yards to get there. Hudson Ehrenfeld went for 99 yards, just 1 yard off that 100-yard mark, and he scored twice. And Blake Swart took a run 69 yards to the house. Receiving touchdowns went to Ace Peck and Landon Koss. And Mid-Prairie all over Union. They had a couple interceptions. Gentry Bontrager had one, and Cash Brown had one. So huge win for Mid-Prairie. And now the game that Mr. Hunter Muller will be at live on Friday night. The rematch. It's like the rematch of the rematch between these two teams. Again, Mid-Prairie and Mediapolis going at it. That's very exciting that they get to play again. in the playoffs. That's going to be a crazy environment. You know, all the Mediapolis fans are going to be there.
Oh yeah, and Mid-Prairie won earlier in the season. What, 26-7 or something? I think
they pulled away. Yeah, last time those two teams played, Mediapolis was the only team in the district where Mid-Prairie kind of had to legitimately struggle a little bit. I think it might have been just 21-7 maybe, or was it 26-7? 24-8. So yeah, I think Mid-Prairie scored 24, and then Meepo scored 8. I think they scored when it was 24-0, and then had the ball and almost scored again. Maybe I don't remember. It was a while back. But all right, now we've got 2 winners. We had 3. Hunter, tell us about the Waco Warriors, who had a rematch against Central City in the 8-player playoffs. And while you do that, I'm going to run and desperately try and find a charger.
Okay. All right. As Andy said, Waco Warriors, another one of our teams that are moving on. Waco in a rematch of the first game of the season had to travel. They played Central City at home. This time they had to travel to Central City based on district finishes. But Waco takes care of business in this one, 39-16 to move on. Really, the Warriors controlled early and never looked back. It was kind of close out through the first half. Waco held a 15-8 lead at the break, but went on to outscore the Wildcats 21-8 in the third quarter to pull away. In that one, Loudinghausen-Gay ran for 146 yards and 1 touchdown. Trey Edeker finished with 97 yards and 3 touchdowns as well. Clayton Miller threw for 81 yards and a touchdown. Isaac Rich caught 2 passes for 82 yards and a score. Defensively, Miller finished with 13.5 tackles and 2 interceptions. And next up, the Warriors will take on Don Bosco on the road in the second round, trying to get to that quarterfinal. And obviously, Don Bosco, top 5 team in the state, undefeated. It's going to be a real tough one. A team that Waco saw last year, it came up just short against. So Waco's going to be looking for a little bit of revenge in that one. But Andy's not back quite yet. We'll just keep running through the other games here. The rest of them are losses. The rest of our teams lost. One that was kind of surprising to both of us was undoubtedly the Sigourney Keota West Branch game. Heartbreak for the Cobras over there. Obviously, had been playing so well. After that first loss of the season in the opener, the Cobras won 7 straight until last Friday. They end up losing to West Branch 41-33. It's got a back and forth battle, and really it was West Branch that just edged them in the second half. It was 14-7 after 1. West Branch went on to outscore the Cobras 14-12 in the second, but they still led 26-21 at the half. West Branch gained the edge in the third quarter, scored 14 more to the Cobras 7. So heading into that fourth, West Branch led 35-33. Sigourney Keota could never score again. West Branch added 6 more in that fourth, and the Bears knock off the Cobras 41-33, as I said. So just a really tough end of the season for one of our better teams we cover, and losing a lot of great athletes from that Sigourney Keota team. But Braden Wood finished with 107 yards passing, 1 touchdown. On the rushing side, one of the best rushers in the class, in the state, and in the area that we cover, Isaac Bruns, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe he led Class A or Class 1A in total rushing touchdowns on the season. But Wood also had 60 yards rushing and a touchdown. Ike Molinex had a touchdown as well. Receiving wise, Isaac Bruns had 58 yards and a touchdown. Jace Chalupa, 3 catches for 31 yards. And then defensively, see what we've got Chalupa with 5.5 tackles and then 1 tackle for a loss. Zach Guffey also had 3 tackles for wait, no, that's wrong. Ignore what I just said, but that's okay. On the other side of it, we also had Winfield Mount Union. They headed up for another rematch. A lot of rematches here in the first round of this postseason.
Yeah, there were a lot of rematches.
Winfield Mount Union headed up to Montezuma. Obviously, these two teams played before. It was kind of lopsided that first time around. Obviously, Winfield Mount Union was without Jake Edwards, starting quarterback. It makes a huge difference, large part of the Winfield offense. And this one ends another close loss for area team. Winfield Mount Union falls 61-54 to Montezuma. Let me get down here. And really, it was kind of the first quarter that made up the difference. Winfield Mount Union fell 14-0 in that first quarter, which looking at the final, that's pretty much the difference right there. But Winfield answers back 26-14 in the second, trailed 28-26 at the half, but the Braves just stayed just a hair ahead. Ended up outscoring the Wolves 27-20 in the third to make it 55-46 heading into the fourth. And then Winfield was able to edge the Braves 8-6 in that final quarter, but just wasn't quite enough. Jake Edwards, valiant effort in his final game on the football field, and at least in high school, level, but threw for 327 yards, 5 touchdowns in the loss. Also added 50 yards rushing on the ground with the score. Lane Gankinger a touchdown as well. He also ended with 127 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Max Edwards, 92 yards and 1 score. Thiessen Samuel, 72 yards and a touchdown as well. And then defensively, Gankinger, 15 tackles, and Jake Edwards, 14. Starkweather also recovered a fumble. So tough loss for the Wolves there. And then our final game of our final team to make it.
I got it if you don't have it.
I was like talking kind of slow to pull it up, but you go ahead, Columbus.
You don't have Columbus, yeah. Columbus went to Macocota Valley. This was our team that had the biggest hill to climb because they're playing a 1 seed on the road. Macocota Valley, 61-13. This one goes back to the fact that Columbus lost that very close game to Danville, which put them in a situation to have to play this game as the 4 seed instead of the 3 seed. Even so, Riley Kalberg went for 100 yards and a touchdown on only 11 carries. Tyson Kalberg had 11 tackles, couple catches, only had about 20 yards. Total, the Columbus pass game just couldn't do much. They only had 5 yards passing on 3 completions even. So Macocota Valley defense, obviously very, very good. But Columbus kind of, they were falling off early and they came back to earn that playoff spot. And, 3-3. So tough one for, Columbus, that was kind of what we expected because of how good they were playing. We almost went 5-1 if Winfield and Sigourney Keota would have pulled it off.
As I thought, Sigourney Keota was probably the biggest shock to us because we thought with how well they were playing, we thought that they would pull it out. But West Branch is always a good program, so
it is. Yeah, they got a bad
a lot
draw.
of good teams. So.
And then so as we said, Pekin is up at Madrid. Mid-Prairie is at home with Mediapolis, which you'll be at. I'll be at one of the others. I believe I'll be at Waco Don Bosco because I'll be covering state cross country and then coming back. Yeah, I've been to Don Bosco. You were there 1 year. Between the two of us, I think we've been there like 5 years in a row.
I've never been there. You were there twice.
Oh, maybe that's true. Maybe Waco was up there. Waco was up there last year, the week before Winfield. Yeah. But we weren't there live. I don't know. The last time I was at Don Bosco was the classic between WME and Don Bosco last year. I'm very excited to see if Waco's, they could just keep running the ball and they have a shot. I think that there's no game of the 3 that we're like, oh, they're just going to lose. And I don't think there's a game of the 3 where we're 100% confident they're going to win.
Right.
All tough teams. So we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to talk about a team that I 100% know did win because I was following Hunter's tweets last night, the Mid-Prairie volleyball team. So we will be back.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouth-watering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Hello. Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway and all of our other sponsors. Hunter, you took a little trip yesterday.
Yes, I
The
did.
same place you'll be on Friday, actually. Mid-Prairie High School. And you saw one of the more competitive regional finals. I think you agree with this, Hunter. Regional finals are my absolute favorite. I like going to regional finals better than I like going to state stuff because it's just friggin' chaos the entire time. Regional final basketballs are wild. But Hunter, tell me about the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks finally getting it done last night.
Yeah. First off, regional finals are, I think, the most electric too, because usually you're in like a little bit of a smaller gym and it's like completely packed and it's nice. When you're at state, it's more, spread out. It's a little less.
And state volleyball is chaotic because there's games going on at the same time.
Right. But no, you said it. The past 2 years I've watched Mid-Prairie. I think they got swept by Assumption 2 years ago. Last year, I think they lost in the fifth set 3-2 to Centerpoint Urbana. So I've watched kind of heartbreak after heartbreak for them. Granted, Assumption was, I think, ranked like 1 or 2 that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I've watched them lose the past 2 years in the same spot. The difference this year, they get to host the regional final and maturity and all those things. But obviously, Mid-Prairie looked like one of the top teams in the class all season long, and obviously they're ranked number 8 for a reason. But they finally get over the hump 2 years of falling short. They down River Valley for Wilton 25-22, 21-25, 25-14, and 25-23 to punch their ticket to the tournament. And this was as you kind of talked about, an electric environment. It was a great all-around game, I'd say. But let's just jump in right into the final set, the game winner, because that was where things were most chaotic, and it was just a great final set to end it. But early on, the Golden Hawks fell behind 2-0 and then 3-2. And then Callie Huber kind of ignited the Golden Hawk crowd with back-to-back kills. I mean, I don't know. You haven't seen Mid-Prairie, I don't think, but
I saw them. Maybe I haven't this year. You've seen them like 4 times, haven't you? I saw them last year, which is basically the same team.
I've seen them 3 times. I saw them
3
in
times?
Washington. But they do these, which I haven't seen them do. They weren't able to, I think, do it a lot before, but they do the little short sets, and then, like Huber comes up and just hits it like on the short sets. They've been able to like incorporate that more in the game. It's kind of a difference maker, but she
Those
did
are
that.
deadly if you can pull them off.
She did that twice. Kind of ignited the Golden Hawk crowd to make it 4-3. But from that point on, really neither team could find the means to pull away. Midway through the set, Jovi Evans, who we've talked about for a long time in pretty much every sport she does, she hammered home a kill as well to give the Golden Hawks what would be their largest lead of the set, actually the largest lead of the set in general, 12-9, just 3 points right there. And in all, in this final set, the two teams tied 12 times. And then things got really dramatic at basically in the final 5 points. But at 20-20, Evans and Huber both notched kills to give Mid-Prairie a 2-point cushion with just 3 points obviously needed to end it. Wilton called a timeout, and I don't know what happened, but Mid-Prairie hit back-to-back airs, tied things back up at 22-22, and then Mid-Prairie followed with a timeout themselves, and they did what they needed to do after that. So great timeout there by Zeb and Sherry Evans there. But a net violation by the Beavers gave Mid-Prairie back the lead, and then an ace put them at set point. So, and then the final, I guess, point was kind of just wild. Like I felt like it lasted forever. Them sending the ball back and forth across the net, but a missed serve again by Mid-Prairie. Well, I guess I probably should mention that first. After this missed serve made it a 1-point game, then they were kind of volleying it back and forth. But so it was 24-23, and then the ball, went back and forth a multitude of times across the net, and then I don't know how Mid-Prairie, they saved the ball like a couple times off some big hits from Wilton, and they were able to rally. And Georgia Evans was able to kind of tip the ball just right inside the line to seal it and send the crowd into a frenzy as Mid-Prairie punched their ticket to the state tournament. But yeah, it was an all-around great set. I can run through the first sets real quick here if you want. In the opening set, Mid-Prairie jumped up to a 4-0 lead. That lead only grew through the middle stages. Harper, a Pasha kill, kickstarted a 4-0 run by the Golden Hawks to make it 13-16 and forced a Wilton timeout. Mid-Prairie led by as much as 19-10 in that set after kills from Jovi Evans and Huber and a hitting error from the Beavers. And then Brindley Gearhart had the Golden Hawks looking like they were going to walk away with it in that first set at 24-18. But Wilton came back to make it 24-21. And then 24-22 on a block, but they missed the serve to end that first set, giving it to the Golden Hawks. And then in the second set, Wilton kind of answered back. Mid-Prairie was able to build leads as large as 11-9, 12-10, 13-11, and 14. I don't know what I put right there. I kind of messed up right there, actually, looking at that, my story. But they were never able to pull away in that, so just a couple 2-point advantages there. And then after back-to-back blocks by Wilton made it 20-18, they would never kind of give up the lead in that second set. Mid-Prairie followed with 2 errors, pushed the Beaver lead to 22-18. The Golden Hawks were able to get it back within 3, but it wasn't enough as Wilton tied it 1-1. And then set 3, all Mid-Prairie. Just pretty much a dominant answer to what happened in that second set. Raced out to a 9-3 lead. Wilton was able to pull within 3 at 10-7, but Jovi Evans hit 2 kills and Gerhardt blocked a hit to make it on a 4-0 run, kind of highlighted a 4-0 run for Mid-Prairie there. And then later on, they followed with a 5-0 run as Caitlin Harlan gave a kill, gave Mid-Prairie its largest lead at 19-11. Wilton scored once more, but the Golden Hawks scored the final 4 points to set up that deciding fourth set. As I mentioned at the start, Jovi Evans led the Golden Hawks with 19 kills, 21 assists, and 17 digs. She kind of does it all for them. Callie Huber, 13 kills, 4 blocks. Avery Helmuth, 25 assists, 15 digs. Caitlin Harlan, 9 kills, 3 aces. Dakota Mitchell, 25 digs, and 3 aces. And Georgie Evans had 15 digs. So first time in 20 years, Mid-Prairie goes back to the state tournament. They joined their 1996 squad in 2004, which is the last time they reached it. And they've been breaking records past 2 years. Last year they broke the record for wins, and they break it once again with the record now being 33-8. So huge win for Mid-Prairie as they head to the state tournament, getting over the hump there, and they're gonna tough road ahead. Obviously, they were ranked number 8. And as Andy and I mentioned, there were no upsets basically across the board. So Mid-Prairie is the 8th seed and will take on number 1 ranked Mount Vernon in the first round, 10 a.m. on Tuesday in Extreme Arena in Coralville. So
Extreme Arena, and you know what I'm doing right now? You know what I'm doing while you're talking, Hunter?
what's that?
And I'll finish it the next time you talk. I am officially putting in our state volleyball media request
Awesome.
to the girls' union. So we'll be. I was gonna say. So it's funny that this reminds me because they play on Tuesday, 10 a.m., which also just happens to be election day. So everyone make sure to go vote early if you don't want to, just in case it goes into 35 to 33 in the 5th set. But the last time I was at state volleyball, I think the last time that we were at state volleyball, let me think, nobody last year, right? I think the last time the union coverage area was at state volleyball was when New London made it in 2020, and they played on election night. So we were trying to get our stories done because our deadline was right after the game, and there was a bunch of people watching the states and stuff turn red and blue, and I remember it was just pure chaos because it started at 10 p.m. So it was like battling up against it. And I remember how much craziness. So I'm glad that Mid-Prairie plays at 10 a.m. That's a great time to play, and it does not mess with our deadlines at all, which is nice. So great job by the union. Give Mid-Prairie at 10 a.m. Hey, how about we keep that same energy up in softball season? Make sure we get a 10 a.m. or a noon game. But yeah, you said they're playing Mount Vernon. That's a tough team. I was looking through the bracket. It's 4 private schools and 4 public schools. One of those private schools I saw because I was at Washington at Assumption. I took our yearly Davenport trip. We talked about it last week, I think. How every year, at least once or twice, we ended up in Davenport Assumption. By the way, Davenport, you can't have all your roads being worked on at the same time. You got to start with one road or two, and generally, and they don't have signs. Let me just complain for a second. They don't have signs that tell you. It's just whoever's driving here probably lives in Davenport, so they'll know that you're supposed to take this road and this road. Davenport, come on. But your 3A volleyball team is very good. Assumption came in, the big favorites. Washington did give Assumption a really tough first set, 25-20. It was 23-20 before Assumption pulled out the last 2. But Washington did it was okay, it's on, and the Demons didn't play too bad. I mean, Assumption has such good hitters. There were times when it was there's no shot Washington's going to be able to dig that ball or get it back over. And they would just it would be one of those crazy scrambles where 3 girls are diving, hitting it perfectly back over. And then Assumption, they're just always set up. And you mentioned those little short sets to the center. Assumption was absolutely deadly with that. And Washington's got an okay height at the front of the net. But I don't understand how anyone could have stopped what Assumption was doing. So they're super, super good. I was kind of hoping that it was going to work out to where they'll play Mid-Prairie. Hopefully, maybe they'll both, if they do, it would be the championship, because I was just kind of wondering what it would be like if those 2 teams played. We had a 5-kill day for Leighton Messenger and Ella Greiner. Leading in assists, as usual, was Lauren Henriksen. She ended up with 13 assists, and then dig leader was Messenger again, and Greiner had 9. So Washington, obviously SEC champions, they lose SEC champions for the first time. They do lose libero Ruby Widoff, Lauren Henriksen, Ella Greiner, Bella Salazar, and Maya Murphy. Those are all the seniors that played, so that is a very good senior class. They do have a lot of talent, especially hitting right at the net, that will be coming back. So most of the front of the net will be coming back, but we'll see if they can take that next step next year and hopefully not have to play in stinking Davenport Assumption. But we can't even hope for that anymore because we always end up in Assumption.
Everywhere.
It's a great place to take pictures, though, Hunter.
Oh yeah, it is. I love because they have that extra level.
Yeah. But back to being negative about it. Of course, it was great weather the entire 2 weeks up to that, and it just poured like I was getting blown off the road.
I told you you were going to hit it.
Yeah, because you were at a small school game. So along with that, by the way, just to finish this up, Mount Pleasant had a really tough game against Clear Creek, Indiana. Both these teams, by the way, CCA and Assumption were both ranked. CCA's ranked in 4A. I'm actually going to check to see if CCA made it to the.
They did.
They did. There were like no upsets in the regional finals. But Clear Creek, Indiana, 25-14, 25-11, 25-14. And Mount Pleasant had a 5-kill game out of Alex Scott, 4 each for Savannah Slobodnik and Addison Clark. Co-Diggs leader Alex Scott, Abby Carthy, and assist leader, per the usual, would be Abby Carthy. Now, Mount Pleasant does lose. So there were 6 seniors that saw the floor. Sonia Simon, Busy Rickman, Zathali Calderon Martinez, Zoe Atkinson, Savannah Slobodnik, and Addison Peck. 4 of those girls start. 4 of those girls start of those 6. But Mount Pleasant does have a lot of junior talent, so I expect them to take a step up next year.
Yep.
They're a couple big hitters. They're setter Carthy's back. They'll need to figure out something defensively just to shore that up. And then we talked Fairfield got a bad draw, so that we talked last week about them falling. But Hunter, where were you at when I was at the? Now we had. Oh, wait a minute. Was that the Van Buren Cardinal night?
Yep.
That was Van Buren Cardinal night. So you had a little bit of. It was almost past you, or did it hit you right when you left Van Buren?
No, that was Mid-Prairie Albion night.
Oh, that was the Mid-Prairie first game. Oh, okay, you're right. Well, tell me about Van Buren, because you saw Van Buren and Cardinal play, and then they've played since the winner of that, no spoilers, has played since you saw them. So let me know how'd that all shake out.
Yeah, give me 1 sec here. I accidentally closed it.
While you look it up, I'll just.
I already know that. I mean, Van Buren County obviously made it to the second round of the Class 2A bracket. I saw them last week. I believe it was last Wednesday, I believe. Pretty sure they squared off against Cardinal. Ended up winning that one 3-1 over the Comets there. Obviously, Van Buren County had a pretty good season. They downed the Comets 25-14, 25-19. Ended up losing the second. Cardinal came back with a really nice 25-23 win in set 3. But the Warriors closed 25-14 in that one. And the win set up the Warriors with probably their toughest matchup of the season. Obviously, had to travel to Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont, which is I feel like every season in any sport for our 2A teams, Eddyville, Blakesburg always shows up to kind of ruin the party, if you will. We saw it in softball as well, but Eddyville, Blakesburg ranked number 2. They ended up downing Van Buren County pretty handedly, 25-11, 25-14, and 25-14, knock off the Warriors there. So a tough end of the season, them against a really tough opponent, but a really nice season for the Warriors. You finished 20-10, so got to be pretty proud of that.
Just to pile on what you just said about Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont, when I was in high school, I went to Sheridan, which is in Eddyville's conference, and one of my friends, a year ahead of me in school, I think, 1 year or 2 years, and she had a full ride scholarship, D1, Boston College. She was that good of a volleyball player.
Boston College.
So we had a super stud volleyball player, and they never beat Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont. And I remember my friend trying to hype her up for the game one day. She's just like, well, I mean, I don't know. Eddyville's got like stars everywhere. Like we never even come close. And I remember him being like, yeah, but do they have full ride scholarships to go D1? And she's like, I don't think so. And he's like, well, then they suck. He could beat them. And then they didn't. They swept them every single time. I was like, we had the best sticking player. Some Eddyville girls sports, I don't know if it's coaching or whatever, but they never, ever slow down. So shout out to those guys.
They just showed up. They just show up and will finish top 5 in the state. In softball. They Cardinal almost beat them twice. Actually, Cardinal did beat him once, I think, and then they ended up placing third in the state. It's like,
yeah, that's right. Because the SEC in softball is amazing. We'll see how basketball. I'm excited to see how basketball shakes out. But
their state tournament They're a state qualifier in that last year too.
Yep. They beat us in girls basketball all the time too. We will come back. When we come back, we have the A block, the B block, and the C block. This is just 3 A blocks today because we have importance in all sports. The cross country recap by yours truly, Andy Kretzner, will be coming on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At First Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with a flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with First today and see why together is better.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
Thrills, chills, and things that go bump in the night. The Russians' House of Terror.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back to Prep Sports Plus, presented by the Southeast Iowa Union. There's some sports going on above me right now, Hunter. There's a race, I believe, between a couple of kids. They've got a hallway, and they're just drag racing with each other. So I keep hearing the little pitter-patter. I might have to go up there and challenge them to a race. Speaking of races, I didn't even do this on purpose. Cross-country, Hunter. I remember I called you when you were at Van Buren Cardinal because I was coming back from cross country from Pella. And it was a wild ride from the second my first front 2 tires crossed into Pella till the second my back 2 tires left. But I'm going to tell you, and I'll tell you about, so cross country going into this, we're going to start with the girls race because that's where a lot of the craziness happened. Going to this, I would say that the Washington girls were probably, we knew that Palo was going to make it. 3 teams make it, by the way. 3 teams and then 15 individuals, kind of, and I will talk about that in a second. But team-wise, Fort Madison had just beaten Washington in the conference. Winterset was pretty good, and Pelo's awesome at girls and boys cross country, so you can just pencil them in. But we didn't know, was Washington going to get one of those last 2 spots? So, unbeknownst to me when it finished, because I was watching Winterset. In my brain, I had put Pella and Fort Madison in, and I said, Washington's got to beat Winterset here. They didn't. Winterset beats Washington in the team standings by like 14 points. But then someone's looking at their phone and they realize Washington nips Fort Madison 96-97. 1 spot for the last qualifying spot for this weekend's cross-country meet. And I saw with my own 2 eyes the pass that made it happen because a couple of Washington girls, a couple of seniors actually coming across the line were battling with runners right to the very end. The big one was Kendall Hendrickson had a girl from Fort Madison in front of her by like a couple of strides, and she just ducked her head and kicked it in. They have a video, if anyone wants to see it, on the Washington Athletic Facebook, just watching like her catch her at the very 0.05 of a second is how much she beat this girl by. And that made the entire difference. That was the literal difference between making it as a team and not making it as a team. Ira Stahl led as per the usual, led Washington. She got 5th. But Hendrickson ends up getting 20th. So there was a big gap in between everyone else because all the Pella girls. She got 20th. Right behind her was Lauren Horak in 22nd. She and Lauren Horak also beat out a girl from Bondurant by 0.06 of a second. She had the exact same thing happen where they were dashing to the line. And that one made a huge difference too, because I believe if it went down to the next runner, Fort Madison would have won that one. So both those girls just barely made that difference. Quincy Griffiths and Angeline Anderson both scored as well. A couple more seniors. I put Angeline's name instead of Olivia's in here. Quincy Griffiths and Olivia Anderson. I hate it when I read back my stories and I figure out I screwed something up. Good thing Olivia's in the picture for this. They finished 24th and 25th, and then Angelina Anderson, 29th, Emma Horak finished 32nd. So that happens. And then also what happens, the top 15 make it, right? Well, Mount Pleasant's Quintry Lee got 17th. So when I talked to her afterwards, my brain was saying Quintry just barely missed it because she got 17th, just 2 spots. But guess what, Hunter? Pella was so good that they had 7 runners in the top 10. Jeez. And only 5 runners score. So 2 of those runners didn't even count in the 15, which if you do the math, that means that Quintry Lee actually, she got the last spot individually as a freshman. So, and she hasn't really come out of nowhere. She was already good this year, but at conference, I was like, oh my gosh, the Mount Pleasant girl starting to really kick it in gear. So she will be going representing the Mount Pleasant Panthers. So on the girls' side, we'll have the Demon girls and Mount Pleasant girl. I will be there in the flesh for Fort Dodge on Friday morning. And then on the boys' side, it was pretty expected that the Washington boys would make it. They did. They did in flying colors. They got 2nd in the standings. After Andrew Reese beat Tyler Alderton in conference, Tyler Alderton actually beat Reese, setting up a grudge match at state. Alderton got 3rd, Reese got 5th. And then Sawyer Shantz, who didn't have a great race at conference, came in 12th. I mean, when he came across in 12th, you had 3 in the top 12. It was like, just go ahead and put him in because we knew that the math was looking good. But honestly, the Washington boys all ran pretty well. Parker Shantz was 24th, Ethan Hotchkiss 27th, Teague Miller 47th, Jace Sanders 49th. So they will all be running. So as far as the cross-country race for 3A and 4A is concerned on Friday, you guys know we don't have any 4A schools that we cover. But Washington girls and boys together for the first time ever. There had never been a year where both teams made it. And then Quintry Lee will be there for Mount Pleasant. So that's 3A on Friday, Hunter, which I will be at in the flesh. And then I will be driving all the way to Gilbertville. Oh, there's a good restaurant around there because I'm just going to enjoy Iowa actually on Friday. Driving through Iowa. I'm just going to stop at every town probably because I'll have a little time left over. Or I'll just be there so early. Maybe I'll do a live pregame show from Don Bosco High School. And I'm going to get the best parking spot. Anyway, that's nor here nor there. Small school-wise, we knew we were going to get a good amount of small school state qualifiers. And they will be all running on – these are people who will be running on Saturday because they split it up on COVID and they still haven't put it back. I wish they would just put it back to one big day because if it wasn't for the football game – then I would be driving up for the 3A. I'm driving 3 hours for like 30 minutes of running because there's just 2 races and we don't cover 4A. But I'm going to a football game too. But I would have went anyway. Class 2A in Pella Christian. Mid-Prairie, we knew they were going. First place in the boys. First place in the girls. Emmett Schwarzentrooper did get beat out for the qualifier championship. He got 2nd. Preston Yutzi, 3rd. Jace Yoder, 6th. Max Schwarzentrooper, 10th. No, sorry. Max Schwarzentrooper is a sophomore. I got tricked by that. 16th. Flynn Thomas, 17th. Luke Brokaw, 18th. Jesse Stoltz is 29th. And on the girls' side, so the boys scored 57 points. They were plenty in. Girls, 44 points, more easily in. Brooklyn Stutzman, she got second. Rachel Hostetler got sixth. Kendra Landstrom, 15th. Tessa Brokaw, 16th. Hannah Rogers, 18th. And Dessa Pohl got 21st. And Rebecca Wallington got 70th. So all of those runners that I just mentioned, assuming they go with the same varsity 7, will be there for Mid-Prairie on Tuesday. Those teams are legitimate threats for hardware in Class 2A. It's a good day. Yeah, Mid-Prairie. This is basically the Mid-Prairie show. Mid-Prairie will literally be playing, in the course of 4 days, they'll be playing a huge playoff game on Friday night. That's the only thing that stinks is if you're a Mid-Prairie fan that's going to go to both, you can't go too hard on Friday night because you got Saturday morning and then the volleyball game on Tuesday. So there we go. Mid-Prairie in. Now we're going to 1A at Pleasantville. So we're just reading out the qualifiers here. Individually, Jude Dykstra of Waco gets first place at the Pleasantville qualifier. And right behind him is friendly rival Colby Newsom of Winfield Mount Union. Second place, he'll be going. Cole Milliken gets sixth and Mason Dahlstrom 12th. Those are Pekin kids, by the way, Milliken and Dahlstrom. So all 4 of those will go individually. There was no team qualifiers on the boys' side. None on the girls' side either. But Chloe Glosser is a champion as well. So Dykstra and Glosser both win championships. Going to take a drink here. She gets first. And Marie Yoder of Hillcrest Academy second. And then Sienna Standerson of Hillcrest Academy was fifth. So 3 in the top 5 of that qualifier. So all 4 of those boys qualifiers, all 3 of those girls qualifiers will be in the 1A races. In North Lynn, we did have a team qualifier. The Columbus boys, Ty Muniz 4th, Cade Storm 17th, Drake Marin 22nd, Brian Vila 24th, Juan Alcala got 29th, Elias Gonzalez Bravo got 30th, and Brian Latenki finished 33rd. So that's a team qualifier for the boys. And then individually, Iris Garza for Columbus did finish 5th, so she qualified. Name another newspaper that's got 2 Irises running on this weekend in Fort Dodge. Not going to find many. And then at Regina, the Van Buren County boys, they only lost out on first by a point, I believe. Maybe my brain's remembering a different race. But Lincoln Bainbridge, 3rd place. Landry Lepler got 7th. Gavin Knoll, 15th. Leo Urak got 20th. Caden Ferris, 29th. Elijah Westerkamp, 55th. Jackson Meat, 57th. What a great last name if you're a runner, Meat.
That is great.
You should name his first child Cross Country, because then his name will be Cross Country Meat. And individually, Van Buren girls didn't make it individually, but Kaylee Snogren and Riley Phillips, both who have been top runners for them, they get 6th and 7th individually. So Van Buren County, Class 1A is going to be a lot of our kids running. And that's and Mid-Prairie is like in 2A. So we'll have a lot of kids running in all races. We always do. It always happens. It always happens, Hunter. We will have
I feel like
plenty of people there to watch.
Cross country, it's always wild because we have like well over 20 like total kids like every single season. And they're all in different classes, spread out between different classes. So it's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. What if they just one year they're like, you know what, everyone's going to run together, boys, girls. We're going to get a giant course.
That'd be
that would never happen. Maybe have it in like New York City.
Right.
I think that's all we have.
That is all we have.
The show's over.
Sad.
Sad
day.
My kids are watching the show called Out of the Box, and they do a song when they leave. Remind me, and I'll learn it for next week. It's like, so long, farewell, and they got to remind me. Also, can I make an apology to our watchers really quick?
Do it.
We tape this on Wednesday, but it's Thursday when they're watching, and it's Halloween. So happy Halloween. We didn't dress up. Last year, we dressed up.
We did so good. We were so good last year about doing whatever, doing a theme for whatever holiday it was.
Can you do, We should have done like fun faces. No, I don't think you can do that on Zoom. Can you?
I don't think so. Oh wait.
Whatever. Here's what we're gonna do. Whoever loses I think whoever loses March Madness, hold us to this, Peter. This is you two. Whoever loses March Madness brackets this year for the three of us should have to dress up for every show in October next year, to make up for it.
Okay.
You have to get 4 different outfits. Remind me of that bet. We'll make it in basketball season. All right. When will we see him, Hunter?
We'll see you next week.